Fight. Welcome back to the 2 Pointers podcast. I'm Trevor Everett. I apologize, first of all, for not having a show since July 5th. I had a lot of things going on. You can see Twitter for all that stuff. I talked about it a little bit. But super glad to be back in the summer series here we call Trivia Showdown. I have been waiting a full calendar year to say those words. And if I'm correct, I don't think I had met these guys yet. Well, Phil I had talked to a few times. But I don't think I had met you guys in totality a calendar year ago when Trivia Showdown was a thing. And, you know, the juices were flowing. I was so excited. I was like, man, I know exactly who my first Trivia Showdown casualties are going to be. And you'll understand casualties here in a few minutes for the new listener, especially when I explain the rules. But first of all, for those that are new to my channel and show here, we do a lot of different college basketball stuff, NBA draft all throughout the year. And I am very excited to have Trivia Showdown back. It's our summer series, but a lot of great content coming up next year. Really quick, I'll plug follow 2 Pointers on all social medias, things like that. It'll all be linked in the description below. Let's introduce, I'm going to start with Peyton Burton because he has not actually technically been on this show. So I'm going to start with Peyton. Phil and Josh have made an appearance already. Finally got Peyton on here for a group effort. But Peyton, introduce yourself and where people can find you since I haven't said that yet.
Well, my name's Peyton Burton. I'm the co-owner and co-host of the Everything College Basketball podcast and Facebook group. And I've been told I have 74 favorite teams. And last year was about 87. I've dropped it down to about 13 now. Hopefully by the year of 2040, I'll get it down to maybe 10 teams. So that's what I'm hoping. But in reality, I'm a Louisville fan. I'm a Kansas fan. And I've been doing this podcast with my brother Josh, who's at the bottom left of the screen right there, for about 5-6 years now. Heading into year 6 or year 7. I can't remember, but doing this for a long time. And check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/group/Everything College Basketball, ECB Podcast 10 on Twitter, or I guess now it's called X. What the hell that even means anymore. And check us out, man.
Yeah, awesome. Phil and Josh, anything to new for the new listeners?
I hate thunderstorms because they just knock my power out. So I've got massive heat with thunderstorms right now. Other than that, Peyton covered it. You know where to find us. We've been doing this for a while now. So I'm excited for trivia, man. I like to think I'm a trivia guy, not just sports, but general knowledge, history, and all that. So I'm excited. And if I make an ass of myself now, I'm going to be very disappointed. So,
Phil?
No, you can find me at Phil_Dex_sports on Twitter. But yeah, that's really about it. Like Josh said, I'm pretty excited for trivia. Hesitant to really talk too much junk right now because I really don't want to make a fool of myself. And as you mentioned, it's going to be pretty difficult questions, I think. So excited to get into it, man, and test my college basketball knowledge.
Yep, Phil said it. So we are going to be doing college basketball trivia. I'm not going to, hang out any longer here. We're going to go ahead and get started because we had close to an hour of some fun. It's going to be a 10-question format for those that are new here, for those that didn't watch last year. For those that did, it was one of the best things I've ever put out on this channel just from a personal enjoyment standpoint as well as just support-wise, so thank you so much for that. I plan to keep these going all throughout the summer until I'm too tired of working on the magazine, and I'm going to have to start working on that and not doing Trivia Showdown. So, but it is going to be 10 questions. You are only going to have 2 multiple choice, and then the rest are free answer, but they do have some fun question formats. It's not just me asking you for an answer, so there's a lot of fun stuff in there. And then the bonus round is a question that will be 60 seconds. You do not lose any points in that 60 seconds for wrong answers. I encourage you to write as many as possible because we have had some hilarious responses. So I hope to hear those today as well from you guys. And then I threw in a cool little nugget for y'all because each of you are a fan of some team. For those that don't know, as Peyton made the joke, 65 different teams. I chose Kansas for Peyton's team, so I will have a Kansas-themed question coming up in a moment. Phil is an Illinois Illini. Is that how I say that right? Illinois Illini? God, that sounds so funny. Fighting Illini. Fighting. Thank you. I as soon as you went on mute, I was like, wait a minute. It's Fighting Illini. And then Josh, who's been on here before, we've talked about the Kentucky Wildcats. So we will also have a question for them as well, for those of you that are coming over here to hear the Kentucky Wildcats questions. There's 3 rules on here for those that are new. Have fun, learn something, and it is for these guys will be very, very difficult, I hope. So we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to set the tone for the summer series here. So everyone ready? Excited?
Ready?
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready.
All right. I've hyped it up, so hopefully it works out. But first question is going to be multiple choice. First time I've ever done that, so this will be really fun. You'll actually get a nice, easy start. Question number 1. How many schools have won a men's basketball national championship since 1939? I'm giving you a cutoff year because that is the official year that we start counting it. Multiple choice: A, 36, B, 34, C, 25, or D, 41. And you guys can talk out loud. You can also not. I'm going to stall time by talking about different things. I am going to plug stuff throughout as well because that's where we do all the dead time. But I will also read as many of the answer choices as I need for some of the longer questions for the audience as well as for you guys. So A, 36, B, 34, C, 25, and D, 41. How many schools individually have won a men's basketball national championship? This is according to the NCAA.com website. I will not always quote my sources because I don't always trust them all for these questions. So, and there's no timer for what it's worth, fellas. I will kind of keep an eye on the clock since StreamYard does the really awesome clock in the top left corner we can all see, I think. So, but I will just make sure that, this question.
I think I got my answer.
Okay.
I got mine.
I've got mine. I'm not 100%, but I feel good about it because when you take into account teams that have won multiple titles, I think that trims the list a lot. Mm-hmm. So I feel okay about this answer.
Phil, you ready to lock it in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna start with Josh since he had a good explanation for it. So you can either write down the letter for when you show it on for YouTube. You can either write the letter or the number for this whole episode. I don't care either way.
Well, I did it both. And I hope you guys can see that. I went with B, 34.
Okay. All right. We'll go with Phil since he's next to Josh on my screen.
I also went with B, 34.
Okay. All right. Peyton, you have a chance to get a point here.
I might have overshot it, but I went with D.
All right. 41. And D was 41. Okay. So this is why I love this show. This is obviously a crapshoot unless you've read this in the last... since April, basically, since UConn won a national championship. Although that didn't change the number, obviously. The answer is A, 36.
Damn! All right.
Damn it.
I tried to give you as many possible chances that seemed obvious. 25 felt low, but then again, you mentioned the repeats. 36 and 34, sorry. I mean, I tried. I just had to give you something. And then 41, I actually thought was going to be the most popular answer.
Who's the two most recent first-time winners that we can blame for that?
That's a great question that I have the link in front of me for, but wasn't prepared.
Probably Baylor.
Baylor would be one.
Baylor
would be
Baylor
one.
And Virginia.
Virginia.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can blame them for the last 2 years for screwing our answer up.
And for what it's worth, I would like to read them. I'm not going to read all the ones that have the number, like if UCLA has 11, I'm not going to say that. But UCLA, Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, Indiana, Connecticut, Kansas. This is in order from most to least. Connecticut, Kansas, Villanova. Cincinnati has 2 for what it's worth. Florida, Louisville. I think it counts both for what it's worth, Peyton. I think it actually counts it officially. Michigan State, North Carolina State, go Pack. Oklahoma State, San Francisco. Shout out to Bill Russell. Arizona, Arkansas, Baylor, California. CCNY, I think that's college something of New York. I don't know. Georgetown, Holy Cross, LaSalle, Loyola, Illinois, Marquette, Maryland, Ohio State, Oregon, Stanford, Syracuse, UNLV, Utah, UTEP. That's a very famous one we all should know. Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So there's your 35 or 36 or whatever the number I corrected was. 36 national champions in the last since 1939. All right. We are going to go with question number 2 to keep the ball rolling. And I'm going to start with the Kentucky question. We're going to go with Kentucky as the first team. That we're going to go hit the teams right here, 1, 2, 3 in a row, to be fair. This one is a fun format. I told you we're not going to do multiple choice very much, but this is a closest to the number without going over gets the point. Price is Right style. And if you all go over, then it's obviously the closest that will get the point either way. How many Kentucky players have been drafted in the NBA draft according to Basketball Reference? I had to throw an NBA draft nugget in there to make it fair for Phil. And, of course, Kentucky has had the most players by a wide margin. Wide is probably an understatement.
And this is all time?
This is all time, and this is according to Basketball Reference, which tracks any draft era. I will give you guys that nugget, but I will not give you that many helpful nuggets the rest of the show because I feel like that one's important. It is not just the current era. It is any Basketball Reference listed player that was drafted by Kentucky or from Kentucky. So, closest to the number. If you all go over, it is closest with the point. I like
That
how
is-
Phil has said 3 words, and 2 of them were "I'm ready." So he's focused. He's locked in. This is good. I
Man,
love
this one is this is a brutal one.
This is
Yeah,
tough. I
that's
love this
tough.
question.
I don't
Yeah.
even like the thing with this one is I don't even have a ballpark that I
Yeah,
think
don't
this
either.
should be
I just
in.
guessed
Like,
a number.
like at least with the national champions, you gave us multiple choice, and I sort of already had a ballpark idea
Yeah,
of
that's
what
fair.
it would be. But
Well,
this
and there's strategy because you go low to try to in case everybody else overshoots. So
I like it.
uh,
I'm gonna remind. So as this goes on, and as in my opinion, gets harder, I'm gonna remind you of the rules as we go through while you guys are thinking through questions. But you're supposed to have fun, which just seems like we're having a great time so far. 10 minutes in. I want you to learn something. I promise you, I learned something on at least half these questions, and I'm the one that looked them up. So hopefully you learned something today. And of course, like I mentioned, final rule, it is going to be difficult. So hopefully
all right, I got an answer. I'm not confident it's right, but I got an answer.
I got an answer too. I feel like we
I'm
should
ready
take
whenever
like
y'all are.
we
Right.
should take like a 30-minute intermission. There I can just count all the Kentucky players just in the last decade, let alone of all time. But I got
All right.
oh god.
I'm gonna start with Phil. We'll rotate kind of round robin here.
I don't know how I
65.
feel about this.
I got to make sure my math's right, so I'm gonna make sure I write down who's got what. 65. Peyton.
You bastard! I got 67.
Oh, okay. All right, Josh.
Damn, I went real high because I'm counting back to the Rupp's runs and all that. I'm going 95.
All right. So the correct answer is 138, and by math, that would be the Kentucky Wildcat fan, Josh Burton, who's going to get the point for that one. So
Yeah!
I think that's probably fair to say that we all might have expected that or could have expected that.
Yeah, I'm
but
glad I didn't get that right.
yeah, it's all right. It wasn't supposed to be an easy question, and I'm going to try my best to keep score throughout, but also keep score on your own paper so I don't look like a fool when I'm editing this tomorrow. So Josh currently leads, of course, 1-0. No one got the question right in the first one since we were doing multiple choice. Question number 3, we're going to go ahead and roll right into it, and I'll ask about halfway through, I'll do a little intermission, ask you some questions about how we feel. So Illinois is going to be question number 3, so Phil, good luck. Who was the last player for Illinois to be drafted in the first round of the NBA draft playing for Illinois the year they were drafted? So who was the last Fighting Illini player to be drafted the year that they got drafted, that they were actually that year's Illini? So they were not they played for the Illini at one point. They have to have played that year. And you can ask
I have
clarifying
a
questions.
pretty good idea.
Okay.
of who
I
this
do
is.
too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I do too.
So
I
I'll
got
read the
mine.
question again since the wording is really annoying for the listeners, for you those on YouTube. Thank you. Who was the last player for Illinois to be drafted in the first round of the NBA draft playing for Illinois the year they were drafted? This is not multiple choice. I will tell you before I read the question whether it's multiple choice or not for future reference. And I have some data to back this one up.
I'm ready, but I ain't got this one. I know it.
Okay, we're going to start with Peyton.
Oh god, I really just guessed last Illinois player I could think of. Ayu Donsuma.
Okay, we'll go with Josh.
Ayo Donsuma.
Okay. Phil? And he's shaking your head.
I hate to break it to you guys, but
I know
don't
he knows
believe
it.
that's it.
I know he knows it, and he is correct. Myers Leonard in 2012.
Ayo
with
did not
11.
go in the first round, guys.
I have some,
See, I
that's a
couldn't
great
I
context.
couldn't remember.
I couldn't remember.
I could not remember.
There's 30 teams. Well, there's 29 teams that should be feeling real dumb that they didn't draft him.
So some great context there, but you guys all said it a little bit there. Aya was the 38th overall pick in 2021. Definitely should have probably been a first-round pick, all things considered, even in a good draft. The stump here, and I debated not putting this in the question, but then it would have been a technicality, is Brandon Pajemski. He was Santa Clara, obviously, played for Illinois his first year, so I wanted to kind of make it more interesting, realizing how far back the last one was. Sorry, Phil. And also just how interesting the choice of the guy was. So the answer is Myers Leonard, 2012. He was drafted the 11th overall pick to the Portland Trailblazers. I thought that was a really cool fact, and I was like, I was struggling because talking to you specifically, Phil, here, all of your team's all-time history, like there's some players and some names, but I couldn't figure out a way to make it difficult and interesting. And I figured that was difficult enough that would have been fun. And you got it. Nailed it right on the head.
Interesting tidbit with Myers Leonard, too, that I don't think a lot of people would realize is he was a one and done. He was a very highly talented recruit, came in and played at Illinois very differently than he played in the pros. He was much more post-bound big man at Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
he played alongside Brandon Paul, right?
I think so.
Yep. Yeah, they would have overlapped.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that leaves us, Peyton, lucky for you, to our Kansas question at question number 4. So far, the score is Josh with 1, Phil with 1, and Peyton, you still got plenty of time to get one on the board. So, Kansas, very, very illustrious history. We're going to make that very known and clear right now before I say this. Obviously, one of the most storied franchises in the United States for college basketball. What Kansas coach is the only coach in school history with a losing record?
Oh my God.
So, Josh, I'm talking out loud. I'm talking out loud for a second while they write. They wrote immediately. You laughed. So I'm wondering where the thought process is. Don't talk because I want you to get it.
I'm like very confident.
They both know it, and this is by the way, this one's not supposed to be hard, but there is somebody right now that's going to hear this answer in the next 3 minutes, hopefully or less, and they're going to be like, "Wow, I learned something today."
Don't worry, Cook. I got you, dog. If you're listening, I know this one.
I'm laughing because when you say the answer, it's going to come to me. But right now, I'm drawing blanks. I'm trying to go through my Rolodex of coaches.
In fairness, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to a minute. Like I'm not rushing anybody. They both obviously wrote it down immediately, but we're going to make it work. I had a really fun time doing this. Like I said, some of the put together for this is just so interesting, and I think it's only going to get more fun. So, trying to think of anything to fill time with here. Don't forget, use code 2Pointers for $20 off your first order at SeatGeek.com. Link in the description below. I figured this is a perfect time to plug SeatGeek. So, if you
should we give Josh like a clue or anything, or is that?
No. I'm good. Because here's the thing: Kansas wins. That's what they do. So to have a losing season, I know a couple years ago they didn't play particularly well.
Let me be clear. This is the only coach in the history of the team to have a losing record in their career. I should have probably said career. I did not say that. Let me be clear. Maybe that changes y'all's answer. This is the only coach in Peyton, I know you know it. This is the only coach in the history of the program to ever finish their career at the university with a losing career record. I should have said career a little bit more than I did in the first question read.
The only reason I know this because me, Josh, and Cook, who is a Kansas fan, he got me to be a Kansas fan. We did a podcast episode. Maybe this will help Josh out. I don't really care. We did a podcast episode out back like 5 years ago, and he's the one who told me about this because I actually did not know. So, shout out to Cook because I know this one for sure.
There are going to be people that hear this and they're going to be like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And they're going to love it. And that probably gave Josh an answer, and I'm going to give him 15 seconds. For the sake of your phone battery.
I cannot think of the brother's name. Oh, my God.
Well, I'll give you 15 seconds. I would like you to write an answer because, again, sometimes writing an answer makes it more fun than not writing an answer. That's not really a rule in the show, but it is more interesting when you write something, even if it's wrong.
All right.
By the way, for context,
I'm just writing something because I cannot remember his damn first name.
I would like full answer, but yeah, no. For context for people, there was an episode last year where two guys. It was a number question for the Houston Rockets, James Piercy and Biased Houston. Shout out to Biased Houston, and they both wrote. It was basically combining Hakeem's steals and blocks record in his career, his total career record of steals and blocks. It was combining the two together, and they wrote the exact same number. Like it could have been any number in out of thousands, and they wrote the exact same number. So I do like when people put actual numbers because it is really interesting. So, and my ring light just died. Cool. All right, Josh. I think we're back to you anyway, since we started with Peyton last time. So
I feel so stupid because I know this answer, and I can't even think of the coach's first name. Coached the Indiana Pacers. He was with Kansas when they won the title in '88. He's moved around a bunch. Larry Brown. That's it. That's my guess, Larry Brown. Right. And I don't know if that's right at all.
What did you write down, just out of curiosity? Did you write Larry Brown?
Larry Brown. Yeah, Larry Brown.
You wrote Brown. Okay. All right, yeah.
I had Brown, and Larry just came to me.
All right, fair. We're going to go with Phil. All right. You want to unmute yourself for the audio listeners on Spotify and Apple?
Yeah, duh. James Naismith, the inventor of the game.
James Naismith. Peyton, what'd you write?
Yep. Dr. James Naismith.
Dr. James Naismith. The correct answer is Dr. James Naismith. The only person in the history of Kansas basketball is the man that literally invented the sport. Yeah. I just want that to be completely out loud known to the college basketball world. That is the dumbest thing ever But it's so funny. Obviously, the game was different back then. The first game ever was 9v9. That was actually a question on Trivia Showdown last season with Alex and Carl from Jimmer Range and Ryan Hammer. That was a really, really fun episode. If you haven't seen that one, I'll link it below. But yeah, just some interesting stuff that we've found out here on Trivia Showdown. So, Josh, any thoughts now that you know the answer of one of the weirdest trivia questions ever?
Peyton, when Peyton said that, it makes sense because Cook did bring that up because he was dumbfounded, right?
I'm dumbfounded still.
Bitter basketball. This is what drives me insane because, like, if you asked me on the street and we were talking about this off air, I would have known it just like that. But now that I'm on the clock and against other people, I'm like, brain fog. So,
well, especially when we knew it like right away, that probably didn't help you at all.
Yeah, it did not. It put me under pressure.
All right. So for the sake of fun, we're going to run out of team questions. So now we're officially going on to whatever that my evil scientist brain can put together for college basketball. Hopefully it's difficult. We're going to move on to question 5. Really quick score update, if I'm correct here. Phil, I believe, has 2. Peyton has 1. Josh has 1. We good there?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
And by the way, I'm going to get that wrong. The only way I can write it, because I have to hold my microphone right now, and I'll tell the story on another pod about that, but I'm literally putting your names next to the questions, and that's probably not going to help me long term once we get to question like 9. So, again, keep your own score, and I'll probably start asking you here in the next 2 questions. So, all right. Question number 5. What player has the most NBA career points that played at UConn, our reigning national champion in April? What player has the most NBA career points that played at college at UConn?
I feel like this is pretty simple.
This one was fun because you're probably sitting here like kind of mad at me internally, and you won't admit it, that this is technically not a college basketball question. But the guy played at UConn, which is a college basketball program, so it counts, and it's my show, so I'm allowed to make stupid questions like this.
Oh God!
Because when I saw
names,
it, I thought it was interesting when I saw it. I was like, oh, cool, you know.
There's 2 names that come to mind, and the first one's who I'm going with, and I might be completely wrong, but
yeah, I think we're probably on the same page here, Josh, I feel like, but we'll see. But ready whenever.
All right. I think Phil's up first anyway. Peyton, you got an answer?
Yeah,
I always lock in everybody. All right. Y'all are fast. This is good. All right. We want plenty of time for the finale because you're going to want plenty of time to be writing stuff for the finale, and I'm going to have to go through all your answers. So, Phil, go right ahead.
Ray Allen.
Okay. Peyton?
Same. Ray Allen. If you
All
say
right.
it right there.
same. I don't know if you
All
can see
right.
that, but right.
Okay. I had written this question down months ago when I wanted to do Trivia Showdown and for whoever was going to be the first college basketball victims. You guys are doing not too bad so far. Ray Allen's correct. He has 24,505 career points. Unfortunately, again, I wrote this down months ago, so I do not have the other lists in front of me.
I would imagine
some
Rip
other
Hamilton
names.
would have been.
That's-
He was the other guy I was
yes.
thinking of, Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, he is also on that list, I know, but I don't know what the order or what number, unfortunately. So we're about halfway through, so I'm going to ask a question I ask every show that I think is really interesting for Trivia Showdown. But, Phil, give me 3 words how you're feeling so far, and then give me your score before you say that.
Before I say that, my score
sorry.
is 3 right now. I believe I got 3 out of 5 correct.
Not bad. Not bad.
Feel pretty good about that, honestly, because I feel like the Kentucky one was so like you were gonna have to get lucky to get close to that one, and the national title one I was pretty close on. So I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Feeling pretty good. That's 3 words. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Peyton, what's your score? And then 3 words on how you feel so far.
I got 2 points right now, and I feel better than Josh.
Better than Josh. Love that. Love that. One time I asked a guy, I don't remember who it was now. I asked a guy 3 words, and he literally went on for 2.5 minutes. So I'm just going to see how this turns out again.
Sounds like Corey.
Josh, score, and then how you feeling in 3 words.
I've got 2 points, and I hate thunderstorms.
That's why I love this show. It's always the most random responses, and I hope your phone makes it because obviously you'll be disqualified if not. So,
Well, we're at 28%, and we're getting there. So.
Oh, we can make. Dude, we were flying through this. I did one of these one time. And we were literally on question 2 or 3 in 24 minutes. So we're good. We're making great progress, and I don't care if this isn't an hour. All right, question number 6. I do find this very interesting, and I do need to find the year while you guys are looking up or doing your answer or whatever. So, Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin this year, and I did not mean for there to be this many NBA draft questions. Let me just caveat there. I'm not trying to give Phil any easy help under the table here. But Jet Howard and Kobe Buffkin were the first set of Michigan players to go inside the top 15 in the NBA draft since which two players? Let me be clear. Since which two Michigan players? I did not write these questions in proper grammar. I didn't get any editing help here. So, Jett Howard and Kobe Buffkin were the first set of Michigan players to go inside the top 15 in the NBA draft. Since which two players? I don't have anything super to fill in with, but this was a really fun nugget I actually got from the NBA draft broadcast that I spent 4 hours of my life wasting watching because it wasn't very good. But I did find this nugget, so I guess it was good enough for this. So, good enough to find out a cool fact.
There's like two different sets of teammates that I'm considering here. Well, I mean, the second set, I'm not positive they were teammates, but if they were, they both would have gone in the top 15. And then the other one I'm a little bit more confident in, but this one's a good one.
For the sake of fun.
I've got a couple Michigan pairings, and I can't remember where they went in the draft. So when we talk about the answer, remind me.
Okay. I'll actually throw this out there too. If you can give me both players, I'm only going to give a bonus point if you can give the year and the both players correct. I am very stingy with bonus points, and I do have a bonus point.
I can do that, I believe.
All right, so
I think so.
But you have the caveat is I'm stingy with bonus points. I always have been because you guys are not going to be the only three people doing this all summer, right? There's going to be a lot of people, a little hierarchy, a little competition going on. So, what year? If you get both players right, you can name the year, or you can name the year regardless, obviously. But I'm not going to give you the bonus point if you don't get the players correct. So. Like I said, got to make the bonus points a little hard, and there is an opportunity for 2 bonus points at one of the last questions, and I do think it's really interesting. So I want to make sure, and it's not easy at all, I think, but I've been wrong about that. You guys are doing better than I thought you would be through 5 questions. So no offense. So everybody locked in or still thinking or what? Where are we at?
I'm ready.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is good. I don't remember. I think it's
Peyton this time.
Peyton. Yep.
I'm feeling decently confident in this answer. I don't remember if they got drafted in the first round or not, but 2013, Trey Burke and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Okay, that's a good guess. Josh?
I'm going to say, I can't remember the draft if it was 94 or 95, so I'm going to say 94, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard.
Okay, you said 94 and you said Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard. Okay, Phil?
Yeah.
I'm going 93 with Chris Webber and Juwan Howard.
All right, Josh, you're going to be giving yourself 2 points. Congratulations. I'm proud of you on that one because that is a heck of a pull. I thought this question was going to be somewhat easy just because of the significance of the Fab Five, but you guys were all, well, Peyton, sorry. But Phil and Josh were close on the year there and the players, but we did get Juwan Howard and Jalen Rose. Juwan Howard was drafted first round, pick number 5, and then Jalen Rose was round 1, pick 13.
And which draft?
Phil in the
1994. Josh got it right. Yep.
Jalen Rose was the 94 draft?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I thought he was later for some reason.
No, well, see, that's why I was confused on 95 because the Fab Five went different. Weber went in 93. He was pick 1.
Yep.
And then the other guys waited until the following year and the year after. I think, what's his name? Ray Jackson.
Yep.
Completed his senior year. But I remember Rose and Howard came out together because Weber had went the year prior. So that's why I thought it was 94. But then I tried to trick myself out and think 95. But
one other really cool fun fact that I tried to figure out a way to put out there for the next version of this will probably be NBA. Fun fact: Jalen Rose was the first Jalen in NBA history up until that point, over almost 50 years of NBA history. And since then, there are literally like 13 active Jalens in the NBA right now. So obviously, you could call him a trailblazer in some regard, but I think that also might be a bit of a stretch. So Jalen,
he was a Denver
Rose.
Nugget.
You
didn't get it, did you?
I didn't at first. I'll be honest. I did not. All right, let's move on here to question number 7. I'm glad I almost read them out of order. By the way, I was looking at the wrong document. So, question number 7. This is one of my favorite formats. We have 2 of these today, actually, because I think these are interesting. And last time it was a really hilarious response. Question number 7. I'm going to read you a resume of a coach in the history of college basketball right off a Sports Reference, and I'm going to leave out conferences to make it harder. I'm just going to give you what they did, the award achievement that went with it, and some other things that may help you as well. You're going to tell me that coach. He's an 8-time Coach of the Year in multiple conferences. I'll just say that. He is the NABC Division I Coach of the Year, Basketball Times Coach of the Year one time, and 08-09 won the Adolph Rupp Cup. And he is a 2-time national champion.
That throws.
So 2-time. I'm trying to do this without like giving you something that's going to absolutely blow it away. Like I'm trying to give you what I think you could figure out. So 8-time, if I'm correct on this, finally on the math, 8-time Coach of the Year, because they abbreviate too much on Sports Reference. 8-time Coach of the Year, NABC Division I Coach of the Year, Basketball Times Coach of the Year one time, and then a 2008-2009 Adolph Rupp Cup, and a 2-time national champion.
Is this cheating? What is the Adolph Rupp Cup?
I'm glad you asked, because I was looking that up right now. Josh, do you happen to know it?
I really don't know.
The Adolph Rupp Cup is an award given annually since 2004 to the men's college basketball head coach in Division I competition who best exemplifies excellence in his dedication to the game of basketball and student athletes.
So I thought I had my answer until you, I thought I had my answer until you said he's a 2-time national champion. So now I've got it narrowed down to 2 coaches that would fit this criteria that's been Coach of the Year across multiple conferences.
I'll throw this out there. He was also a conference champion 12 times. He was also a conference champion 12 times. That's in totality. And he only has a losing record at 1 school out of the blank amount. I'm trying to make this more interesting, but like I should have wrote them down better before, and I apologize. Last time I was reading a player right off of Basketball Reference, or in college basketball case, Sports Reference. And
you know what? I'm going to take a swing. I'm going to take a swing for the fences here, and I'll tell you all my answers if I get this wrong. Because this lines up for a long career like this. And 08-09, he had a really good team to be able to win this Adolph Cup. So I've got my answer.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
I got
All right.
mine.
Who are we back up to first?
Me.
For Josh.
All right, Josh, go right ahead.
All right, I'll tell you real quick. I went Rick Pitino because I don't think they're counting 2013. And my other choices, I'll tell you after this, and I'll explain why. But Pitino, multiple conferences. You know, you go back to his early days. You go to Providence. You go to Kentucky, Louisville, Iona. You know, I think it's Rick Pitino.
Phil?
Let me unmute myself. Also thinking Rick Pitino here.
Okay. Peyton? Or Phil, go ahead. Explain yourself. I want to hear the logic.
No, I honestly didn't think that he had 3, even if they don't count the 2013. But I'm probably an idiot, so.
Peyton?
I originally thought Rick Pitino, and then I didn't think. Oh, God. I really just took a shot in the dark because I was struggling. I just said Jay Wright. I don't know.
All right. All right. So this coached for 35 years. 834 and 293 record. Again, I'm giving you what details I felt was relevant. He's a 3-time SEC Coach of the Year, 2-time MAC Coach of the Year, 2004-2005 Conference USA Coach of the Year, 2-time
it's Pitino.
Whatever TSN is, TSN Coach of the Year. I should have just said that probably. NABC Coach of the Year, 1989 Basketball Times Coach of the Year, 08-09 Rupp Cup. And his only losing record was 2-4 at Hawaii, where he began his career.
Yep,
it is
Pitino.
Correct, Mr. Rick Pitino. I should have probably made this question harder. I'll be real with you. I should have probably done some conglomerate of coach that didn't have 5 national championships like Krzyzewski and some others. I probably should have done like a 1 or 2. Like a Jay Wright was a good one, Peyton. Honestly, it really, really was a good answer because 2-time national champion. And to be clear here, they are counting 2013 on Sports Reference. And also to be clear to everyone, and I don't care if I'm getting canceled for this, I counted as well. Peyton, you were making jokes in our group chat. I've always counted it. I've always feel like you don't. The way I look at it is you don't. I get the whole shoeless Joe Jackson thing in the 1910s where that affected the actual score of the games and things like that. And so did some of the other scandals of its kind. But you can't undo that championship. We all watched that happen. It did happen, and I don't care that something affected that happening. So, for what it's worth.
Yeah, you tipped me over the edge for Patino when you said the losing record stat there at the end, because I knew he had briefly coached at Hawaii.
Oh, that actually helped. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's exactly what made me, like, I was leaning him anyway, but then when you said that, I was like, oh, it's Patino.
So who would you have put if I didn't say that?
I mean, like I said, I was leaning his way anyway, but I was thinking maybe Jim Calhoun.
Ooh. Yeah.
But he actually has 3, I think.
Yeah, he does. No, he's got 4.
Yeah,
he's got 4.
Does he?
He won in
99, 04, and 09. Kevin Ollie got the 4th.
And you're forgetting the year before. Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Those overlap for me, too. So I feel it. I know where you are.
So real quick, because we got to get the move on. Patino, so originally when you first started going through the list and all that, I was thinking Roy Williams. And then you said 2-time NCAA or 2-time champion. Then it narrowed it down to Patino, Billy Donovan, Jay Wright. And then you mentioned, what was that last thing? Oh, you mentioned he won the Adolph Rupp Cup in 08-09, which is for the best team. Louisville was loaded that year. 08-09, loaded.
Should have probably not said the year now that I think about it.
Yeah, they were loaded. So that's what made me think Patino.
All right, round table real fast. Give me a score update as we get down to question 8.
I have 4.
5.
I got 2.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. The bonus round has as many answers as you possibly can put. We are going to go to question number 8, where we're going to do the exact same format, but we're going to do it with a player. This one's a lot more fun because I can't screw up on some of the terminology because the coach one was a lot harder. And I apologize for the audience listening. I did not prepare for that. This guy did, for what it's worth, only play in one conference, so I'm just giving you that as a little caveat now. But I'm going to read right off the thing, and I'm actually going to read you stats this time because I do think it made it more interesting last time. You're not just going to get awards and be like, who the heck is this? No years on this one, but one-time NCAA All-Regional, one-time Consensus All-American, Wooden Award, Naismith Award, 2-time Player of the Year in his conference, 3-time All-Conference, and 2-time All-Tourney in his conference. And I'll read those one more time before I get to the stats. 1-time All-Regional, 1-time Consensus All-American, 1 Wooden, 1 Naismith, 2-time Conference Player of the Year, 3-time All-Conference Award, 2-time All-Conference Tournament Award. In 132 games, he averaged 17.4 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 44, 39, 83 splits, so 44% from the field, 39% from 3, and 83% from the line. For what it's worth, a 22.4 PER. Don't think that matters to you, but it's listed on here, and I'll give it to you. So this one you're going to take plenty of time on. Don't stress about this. And I am going to continue to read. Don't really need any feedback on this one because I want y'all to think. But I'm going to read back the awards and the stats one more time just to kind of hear it and kind of maybe something will spark. NCAA All-Region once, Consensus All-American once, Wooden Award Naismith once, 2-time Player of the Year in the conference, 3-time All-Conference Award in his conference, 2-time All-Tournament Conference team, whatever you want to call that, 132 games played in his career, 174, 17.4 points per game, 5 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 44, 39, 83 splits with a 22.4 PER. Does anyone need anything repeated back or any questions? Want to talk things out loud? Whatever. I mean, really no questions here, but
I locked in on one player pretty instantly that I think it might be sort of based on the 132 games and the scoring, because, you know, if you're out of school for 4 years, you know, you may have a freshman year that brings you down a little bit. So I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of consideration here. There's one guy I'm kind of locked on.
Me too. And it makes me think of a certain position with the 39% from 3.
Okay. Peyton, any feedback here? Or are you locked in? Or are you still thinking?
I'm locked in, but I don't feel confident.
Okay. Is everyone locked in?
I'm ready.
Wow.
We'll see what it is.
Okay. Who was the first person this time?
I think it's
it'll be Phil this time.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be Phil.
Phil?
All right. Let's go. I think it's JJ Redick.
All right. Peyton, you look disgruntled every time someone answers. Dude, you be confident in yourself. You're up anyway. So, Peyton, what'd you get?
Well, oh God, I forgot all about JJ. Damn it! I just took a shot in the dark. I feel like it might be somewhat recent, but that's 39% from three. Might not be it. I went with Luka Garza.
Okay. Josh?
Phil, we had the same brain because JJ Redick was the guy. Oh, lights back on.
Hey,
JJ Redick.
Plug the phone in so we don't lose you on question 10. Or question 8, wherever we are. So, I'm gonna talk this one out for a second because I do think you guys are on the right track with JJ Redick with the 3-point line. Garza did shoot pretty well from 3, if I remember correctly. I want to key on one thing Phil said, right? Longer career with the games, and also pretty bad freshman year, right? Or a freshman year that would have pulled down the scoring average to where we're looking at something like 17 instead of maybe something like, I don't know, 21 or 19 or whatever. For what it's worth, I'm going to look up JJ Redick's really fast. I do think it'll be interesting. To give you an idea that it's not JJ Redick. JJ Redick, his freshman year, averaged 15 points per game, and then he ended his career with 19.9, and his resume blew this guy's out of the water, so we're not even going to look at that. This guy, you can thank friend of the program who's been on many shows on this show, Grayson Hill. I texted him and I said, I need a random college basketball player that has national relevance. Actually, let me take that back. I need a college basketball player in the last 20 years that I can read off their sports reference page. He texted me RJ Hunter. I replied, are you okay? I said, are you okay? I need a guy that didn't play 3 years in the NBA.
Oh my God.
A little more relevance. So it's not RJ Hunter. Let me just be clear.
Oh my God. Can I take one? Well, go ahead because somebody else just popped in my brain.
No, good. Throw it out there. I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong till I'm done.
I cannot remember if Redick won Player of the Year because that same year was Adam Morrison, and Morrison stroked and played a lot of games for Gonzaga. I think it might be Adam Morrison now.
Well, I'm going to stop beating around the bush. None of you got the point correct. Luka Garza was a good shout, by the way, Peyton. I just looked up his 3-point percentage, and he shot 36.7% on 54% shooting. Almost, actually, the same exact amount of games. Almost the same exact amount of games, almost the same amount of points. Pretty similar resume as well. And you were actually right in the same conference.
No, I knew it was Big Ten.
The one-time All-Regional, one-time consensus All-American, Wooden Award, Naismith winner, 2-time Big 12 Player of the Year, 3-time sorry, not same conference. I messed that up. 3-time All Big 12, 2-time All Big 12 tournament. He was a first-round pick, 6th overall to the New Orleans Pelicans. Buddy Hield, Oklahoma Sooners legend.
Buddy Hield.
Shout out Blake Bookman. We were just talking about Buddy Hield last night.
You can thank Grayson for what could have been RJ Hunter as an answer, and now was Buddy Hield. And actually, I think it was actually a perfect pull. I told him it was actually perfect because of the way the resume wasn't too. JJ Redick's went down an extra 3 lines just for what it's worth. Buddy Hield's was only a few lines, but it was a very, very good response from Grayson. So shout out to Buddy Hield. No one got that correct, so I'm not going to ask for a score update. I'll save that for the very last question. So I'm going to spare you some trouble. We do have a multiple choice, and this is your final multiple choice before we get to the finale after one more question. Question number 9. Who was the last player to win NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player without winning the national championship? And it is multiple choice, so hear this. Who was the last player to win NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player without winning the national championship? Your answers are Chandler Parsons, Hakeem Olajuwon, James Michael McAdoo, and Jay Williams. We'll read the question and the answers again. Who was the last player to win NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player without winning the national championship? They did not win the national championship.
And this would be in the same year, right? Obviously.
Yeah. They won the year. Yeah, sorry. That's good. That's actually a good question to clarify. Who was the last player to win NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player that year, and they didn't win the title? It's also another way I could word it as well. Chandler Parsons, Hakeem Olajuwon, James Michael McAdoo, and Jay Williams. That is quite the 4 of 5 of starting lineup. After this, for fun, we might have to just build a lineup of this and see who the 4th, 5th player could be.
I feel like
it's
down to 2 players.
Because would y'all consider Jay Williams a point guard in college? Because he was like an interesting combo, but I know he could.
Yes, he was a combo guard. Him and
I don't want to distract you from your answer.
They had Duhon also, but
Duhon.
Right, so when we're done, be thinking of who we could add to this and make a little starting 5. This is just for fun off top of the dome here. So but
All
obviously
right,
we don't
I've
want to
got
spend
my
forever.
answer.
We're still
I've
40.
got my answer.
Yeah, I got my answer as well.
I do too.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start with whoever it was
Peyton.
next. Peyton.
Me. I went with B, a larger one.
Okay.
I went D, Jay Williams, and I can tell you the exact year, 2002. Indiana knocks them out. We actually covered that game, filling them, and he was phenomenal for the first 3 games. So I'm rolling the dice there.
Okay.
So I was thinking Jay Williams in that same tournament, Josh, but I don't think Duke got deep enough. I think this is going to have to be somebody who lost in the title game. So I'm going Hakeem also.
All right. Peyton and Phil, give yourselves a point. The last player to win the NCAA tournament most outstanding player without winning the national title was Hakeem Olajuwon. Chandler Parsons never won it. He was one of the best players on those, obviously, back-to-back Florida teams that actually got brought up earlier today somehow with Billy Donovan. James Michael McAdoo, I tried to think of a North Carolina player that could have won it, but there was really not much overlap of really good Carolina player that didn't win it. It was like they either won the national title and somebody from their team probably would have won it. It was really difficult there, but he was a good pull, somebody I watched growing up a little bit. And then Jay Williams, I thought was the one that would stump you, which
It did for a
potentially,
minute.
yeah, it's a tough one there. They obviously there was some overlap with one of the national titles there with him, I think. But Hakeem Olajuwon was 1983 whenever the Phi Slamma Jamma Houston Cougars lost to my NC State Wolfpack, obviously. And one caveat of this question that I think is very interesting. As you probably know by now, that was basically 30, 40 years without that never lining up like that. It's pretty rare. It's only happened a few times. Hakeem was the last one, like we said. The next guy after that didn't happen again until 1966, where Jerry Chambers of Utah won. Bill Bradley, I was going to put as an answer choice. Would that have made that any more difficult? I was going to put Bill Bradley, just in case it happened way longer ago, okay?
No.
Bill Bradley, Princeton, won in 1965. Jerry Lucas won in 61, where Ohio State didn't win the national championship, but they did in 60. Jerry West, not only did he win the NBA Finals MVP without winning the series, he's the only player to ever do that in the NBA, he also won Most Outstanding Player in college without a national championship, which is even funnier when you do that. Wilt also did it, and then you get into some guys who I've literally never heard of. So, all right. Let's think of a player really fast. I don't want to get too far off in time, but who would we complete the starting 5 with to make a national championship contender? So we have Chandler Parsons, James Michael McAdoo, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Jay Williams. Can we all come to an agreement?
So you need you need a guard.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield.
What's the basis?
I don't know. I was just literally just being funny. I was seeing whoever threw. I was just going to pick whoever out of that core.
I think Hield could definitely go in there. I think you could go J.J. Redick, who we had for the last question, as like a sharpshooter for that team.
We all nodded our head on J.J. Redick. I like that answer without spending 95 minutes on this because I probably could. I like J.J. Redick. That's a really good answer. Jay Williams, J.J. Redick, Chandler Parsons, James Michael McAdoo, and Hakeem Olajuwon running the 5 there. So, all right, let's get a quick score update since we did get some scores there.
I have 5.
I have 5.
3 for
Josh
me.
has 5, and then Peyton has 3, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Question number 10, and there is going to be 1 potential point and then 2 potential bonus points. So pay attention here. Where I'm going to make sure you have time to put the real answer first, and then we'll talk about the bonus, and then make sure we leave plenty of time for the finale. Question 10, excluding, I'm making that very clear because I've had that happen before. I said excluding, and someone wrote that answer down, and I wasn't nice that time. Excluding the Carrier Dome, because it's literally a football stadium. So we're just going to throw that out of the window. Because of its football usage, what is the largest capacity arena in the country? What is the largest capacitated arena in the country that is not the football first Carrier Dome?
And this is, just to clarify, this is like a regularly used home arena?
Yes, regularly used home arena, home game. So like if they're just playing a conference game against somebody. Yep.
I'll tell you who it used to be after we're done before they reconfigured it.
Well,
It used to be before they reconfigured it.
which was? You're not going to give anybody help there in case they don't know? Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go say it because I think it used to be Rupp Arena.
Yeah,
Okay.
it used to be.
All right.
We led the attendance for like 30 of 32 years in a row, with Syracuse only being the team that beats us every other year or whatever.
What was
Another
it, like
big reason.
23,000 or something? That was like 20,000?
Right, just shy of 24,000. Now it holds like 22 because they added like suites and stuff.
Yeah.
Another reason that I excluded the Carrier Dome because it's not fair.
Yeah.
Even though, by the way, they have
big.
30-something thousand and they still they'll still not put in like they'll like do half that on a bad game. They'll literally do like 16,000, and I'm like, that's disgusting. I want to make sure I have the answers in front of me. I do have.
I think I have the answer.
Okay.
I think.
Phil's looks like he's still writing, so we'll give him a second there, and then we'll probably have basically 10+-ish minutes. We shouldn't take forever on the finale. We'll have to just rapid fire answers, and I'll write down who's got what and who's got not. All right. Everybody ready? I know Phil said he's still writing. Good. All right. I believe to round it out would be Josh. Yep.
So if I'm thinking right, the Yum Center holds like 23,000. So I'm thinking it's the KFC Yum Center in Louisville.
Okay. All right. Phil?
Sorry, I had to change because I couldn't remember what the actual name of the arena was, but I'm going the Moody Center that Texas just opened up.
Ooh, it's a good question, or it's a good answer. Peyton?
I'm with Josh, KFC Yum Center.
Yeah, I kind of gave you an unfair advantage. I should probably dock Josh a point for not putting KFC in front
That's
of it.
That's what I was going to say. They put the KFC part in.
No, but he got it. It's obviously the KFC Yum Center.
It's like
the Louisville
20,000.
Cardinals, 22,090.
22.
Yeah. So now for your bonus points, and you're going to be fast. I'm going to start a 25 or 30-second timer. For a bonus point, can anyone tell me the smallest arena in college basketball by capacity? By capacity, not the smallest by size. And then for another bonus point, what about the oldest one? How about the oldest one? It's the oldest college basketball arena. And what's about the smallest? Jeez. Phil, you wrote that a lot faster than I would have ever thought for anybody here. And I'll be real with you, dude. If you get this right, I'm proud of you.
What's the second one? Can you say the second bonus question again?
The smallest and then the oldest. The
smallest
oldest or year, whatever the oldest, the latest year built.
Yeah.
Furthest away year built. So, bonus point, smallest and oldest. And you guys are obviously crushing this trivia show, which means for the NBA one, I'm going to have to reshuffle.
Hey, do we need on the smallest? If I can't think of the building's name,
the school.
Okay, that's what I did.
There's literally zero chance you're getting the arena. Like it's Phil. You wrote that way too fast, and if you get this right, I'm going to be floored. But I'm also going to you're going to get another level of respect for me, and I know you know your stuff. So obviously the scores are proving that so far. So 10 more seconds. Bonus point. Smallest, and I'll ask you for the smallest first, and then the oldest in case you accidentally write.
All right, I got both answers.
All right, I don't care who goes first for this. Phil, you wrote it really fast for the smallest. Let's get yours first.
All right, so for the smallest, I think it might be LIU Long Island because they play in a literal ballroom. They don't play in an actual arena. And then, sorry, I'm trying to get this up here. Cameron Indoor. I don't think that's right because it's too obvious, but I couldn't think of really any other super old buildings. So
Peyton?
For the smallest, I just took a wild guess and said St. Peter's. And then the oldest, I said UCLA.
Okay. Josh?
And then, the smallest, I'm saying Fairleigh Dickinson. And the oldest, I'm pretty sure it's the Palestra out in Philly.
You're really close. All right, so let's do this one at a time. Current arenas that are in operation, capacity. The smallest capacity arena is less than 1,000 seats. 878 seats to see this team play. It is the shout out to Sports Matters on Twitter, Brian Wilmer, who covers this area. The G.B. Hodge Center in Spartanburg, South Carolina for the USC Upstate. Big South team. Phil, you wrote, we're in the Big South country here in North Carolina. I was really scared you got this right somehow. You just happened to be at that game.
Man, I felt really good about the LIU thing.
It is pretty close.
Really good about it.
I don't see it initially right here on here. And again, I'm going off of this is Wikipedia because it was a nice, cool chart that I could order, and it was posted this year. So I'm just take it with a grain of salt. And then what was the other part? The oldest. The oldest is that technically is written down here. How do you say it? The Palestra? Is that what you said?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Well, how do you pronounce it? It's not right. That's not right. But how do you pronounce it?
Oh, okay.
I was trying to figure out how to ask that. Palestra.
Oh.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that was built in 1927. That was third. Rose Hill Gymnasium. That is for the Fordham Rams, who had a really great year this year. That was a cool fun fact. 1925, and the Northeastern. I don't know what they are. Northeastern Matthews Arena was 6,000 seats. Is built in 1910.
I wouldn't have got that.
19-10. Yeah. Again, these were bonus points that were really hard. Did anyone get any points? I don't think anybody got it. All right.
No.
South Carolina Upstate. Shout out to them and shout out to Northeastern. Give me a final score update, and then we're going to roll through this finale.
I got 5. I think me and Josh are tied.
Okay.
No, I got 6. I got the Yum Center, remember?
Yeah, that's right. I got 3.
So, I promise you, for what it's worth, this is literally anyone's game. And I'm going to make sure I've got the list in front of me while I read it, while you guys are typing or writing or whatever. Make sure you have as much room as humanly possible, and you do not get wrong answers. So go ahead and hold your board up, hold your thing up, whatever's for the YouTube audience. Make sure whatever your pin's not visible or pin's visible. Don't want anybody in the comments yelling.
All right, I'm going to flip page through it because if you said I need a bunch.
Need as many as you get. Because if you write a bunch of wrong ones, we're just going to go through them, and I'm going to tell you how many you got right. So,
right.
Obviously, hopefully none of you write 700 of them because this is going to be a while. But the finale, everyone ready? Got their pens ready? Not writing until I say begin. I'm going to say begin. That'll create the 60-second timer. Since 1960, we have been awarding the AP National Player of the Year. You do not lose points, like I've said for the audience there. You do not lose points for incorrect answers. In 60 seconds, name as many AP National Player of the Years as possible. Begin. I'll give you there's a little bit of audio delay. I'll give you a 30-second update. I'll give you a 15-second update. Again, don't worry about me. Don't listen to me. Don't ask me questions unless it's relevant, but go ahead. Do whatever you need. AP National Player of the Year. For what it's worth, this is listed directly on Sports Reference. So, yeah. And I got to make sure I pull up the men's one because we did not do any women's college basketball, but that is okay. We love women's college basketball. Had a great year. Shout out to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. 30 seconds. AP National Player of the Year. Of the year college basketball. All right. 15 seconds. It goes by really fast. All right.
I'm just going to put initials. Well, no, I can't.
Nope. I need full name, unfortunately. Unless it's JJ. Pens down. Pens down. Pens down. Unless it's JJ Redick. You can put JJ. I'm not going to have
Here,
you
I'm
put
putting
whatever
my
his
pen
full
right
name
here.
is. You're good. I trust you guys. All right. I literally do a podcast and write a magazine with you guys. Hopefully, I trust you guys. But we're going to go with the AP. I got them ordered here and make sure I've got them. I can't get them in the perfect order, but I'm going to try to find them. So, I think the best way to do this, I did this show with a host last time, so he was keeping score while I was trying to figure out who got what right. So this is going to be interesting. I think the best way to do this is just to have y'all give me as many that you have, and then I'll just go to each person and be like, did you have such and such? So, we'll start with who has the most? Who's the most?
I do.
Josh.
Peyton has 7, or Phil has 7. I saw that. Peyton, how many do you have?
I have 3.
3? Josh?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 as well.
Let's go, Phil. You wrote one really fast when we started. I'm just going to throw out a random person. Phil, you don't have to show them. You can read them to me.
Okay. So Lou Alcindor.
Okay.
JJ Redick, Kevin Durant, Michael Beasley, Anthony Davis, Zach Edey, and Tyler Hansbrough.
All right, and we're going to go one at a time. So I heard them all. We got the answers. So Zach Edey is correct. Go ahead and give yourself a point for that.
Okay.
And then, obviously, I'll have to give any other answers that you might not have gotten when we're done. So Zach Edey is correct. Your next one?
Lou Alcindor.
That's correct. I didn't have to look. I saw it earlier.
All right. JJ Redick,
That is correct.
Kevin Durant,
That is also correct.
Michael Beasley.
Michael Beasley.
He would have been the year after Durant, probably.
Nope. No, not correct on Michael Beasley. It's a good shout, though.
Anthony Davis.
Great shout. That's correct.
And then Tyler Hansbrough.
Correct. Wow. What a run. AP National Player of the Year. I thought that might be a little harder. Maybe it isn't. We'll see. All right, so give me a score combined for you. Yep, give me a score update for you.
So I got 6 out of 7 there, so that puts me at 11 total.
Cool. All right, 10 questions, a couple bonus points here and there, and then it's a great finale. So, Josh, since you have 7, we'll go ahead and get yours out of the way and see what you got.
All right. Man, this is much harder when you're thinking on the fly in 60 seconds. So I've got Anthony Davis.
Okay, correct. We know that. Yep.
Redick.
Okay, we know that. That's correct. Yep.
Evan Turner, because he won it when John Wall should have.
Correct. Wow, good pull.
Carl Anthony Towns.
It's incorrect.
He did not win it.
No,
Was
I'm
it
looking.
Okafor?
I'm looking at that whole. Just to be clear on the year, he did not win any award his year. I'm looking at all the awards in a column. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm blown away by that.
Wow. Okay. Buddy Hield.
I feel horrible what I'm about to tell you. He won Naismith, Wooden, Oscar Robertson, and whatever the other two on the far right are that nobody really cares about that I've never heard of. But he did not win the AP. Denzel Valentine won that year. Literally, Buddy Hield won 4 of the 6 awards that are listed on this website here, and Denzel Valentine won the other 2. You just happened to throw a dart at Denzel Valentine's one, so sorry about that. But
oh my god,
that's tragic. I feel horrible, man.
and I've got 2 more, and I don't think either one's right because I was just writing them down in a hurry.
Okay.
I don't know if Jay Williams ever won one, but I got Jay Williams.
Jason Williams won one. That was like right there in that same way. Is that the same?
Jason Williams is Jay Williams.
Oh yeah, okay. So then they used his full name. So you got that right. Yeah, you did. Okay, you got that.
And then my last one, because I couldn't remember again, like I told you, who won it between Adam Morrison and Reddick. So I wrote both of them. I went Adam Morrison.
Unfortunately, it was not Adam Morrison. He did not. He won. He split a couple awards with JJ. I believe he split the Oscar Robertson Award and the NABC Award, whatever that is. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier. I'll read some relevant ones that I think kind of shocked me over the last couple of years, but do your score tally real quick, Josh, and then I'll get to Peyton as well, just to see how many Peyton.
I got 4 of 7. That Buddy Hield one really screwed me. Yeah, so that ends up with a total of 10.
Wow. That's crazy. I hope he didn't. Peyton.
Wait, so Phil has that hurt. So Phil has I just hit my arm off my desk. Sorry. So Phil has 11.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I have 3 right now, and I wrote down 7 names. I was in the process of writing 8.
Oh, okay, cool. So this is still anybody's game. I was asking how many you wrote down. Sorry. So you all wrote 7 down?
I just wrote down as many as I could.
You all 3 happened to write 7, 8 names.
I wrote 7 full names, and I wrote a first initial of an 8th name and didn't get it down.
We'll see. I'll go ahead and we'll see. So all right, Peyton.
The 7 names are just as fast as I could physically write.
Yeah, same.
So you got 3, but there might be others that are in there that are right. So let's go. So you got 3. Who do you have that you were right?
I got Jay Williams.
Okay.
Luca Garza.
You know that for a fact. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Obi Toppin.
Okay, you got that right. So hold on, you've got ones that are new. So you're fact checking yourself. This is good. All right. So what's your score at with those 3?
Right now it's at 6.
All right. So then have you already looked up the others?
I'm pretty sure I got the rest of these right, but I'll just keep on naming them if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zion Williamson.
Yep.
JJ Redick.
Yep.
Anthony Davis.
Right.
Evan Turner.
Right. So where are you at? Wait, you just swept that.
Well, that was 7 for 7. That would put me at 10, and I picked the first initial of one name, and it would have been Oscar Sheboy.
Oh, so you literally just put O down and didn't get it out?
Yeah. Literally.
Ah, man.
I put a damn O now.
That would have tied you all, and I would have had nothing on the fly. So I would have had to figure out something on the fly.
I got lucky that Josh said the thing about the initials because I only had half of Tyler Hansborough's name written down. I literally wrote down bro, like just not BRO, but like the bro. And then Josh was like, "We can do initials, right?" And you're like, "No, it has to be full name." So I went and scribbled in Hansborough Tyler.
So here's what's funny about that is this question's hard because it's AP and it's not Wooden, it's not Naismith, right? It's the third, I guess, award you would consider out of these sometimes. And also too the initials that you it's a strategy thing, right? Do you want to write down Hansborough or do you want to write down, let's see, what's the shortest? Zach Edey is one of the shortest names in the last 25 years. Do you want to write down, I don't know, Larry Bird was another one, Scott May, just reading off a bunch of random names. Lou Alcindor was a good pull, and you wrote Lou Alcindor. Like, obviously, I wouldn't have given you a bonus point.
I felt like it had to be. I felt like if it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then, I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't win one.
It was close enough that I might have thought about it and had to figure out something on the fly. But I'll give you a couple I think are interesting. Zach Edey, Oscar Sheboy, we talked about already. Luka Garza, Obi Toppin, Zion. Jalen Brunson was a name I'm surprised no one mentioned. He swept that year. Frank Mason. I always forget about Frank Mason. I really do. Like I know he was good. The NBA, history there doesn't exactly help his cause, but for my memorization, Denzel Valentine we addressed in 2015-16 was 2 of the 6 awards, and you just happened to throw a dart at his. That was so funny. Frank Kaminsky, Doug McDermott, Trey Burke. Trey Burke swept everything except for the Sporting News, I think is right, and Victor Oladipo won that one. Anthony Davis did not sweep 2011-2012, by the way. Draymond Green won the in ABC again, whatever that is. The Jimmer Fredette swept his year. He's been an answer on Trivia Showdown many times. Evan Turner.
Who won in 08-09? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm getting right there. Blake Griffin. 08-09. Yep, Blake Griffin.
So then in the year before that, who won?
Tyler Hansbrough. Yeah, so his sophomore year, he somehow won that, right? He swept everything his sophomore year.
I was just trying to figure out how Beasley didn't win it because he was just an absolute
He's actually not listed at all,
year.
which makes me so sad. Like that's a sad answer there because I'm with you. I think he should have been at some point. Kevin Durant, JJ Redick, Andrew Bogut, a couple Adam Morrisons there, not the right ones. Jameer Nelson had a heck of a year. This year, 2002-2003 was a crapshoot. It was either Nick Collison, David West, or TJ Ford. David West won the one we were looking for. Jay Williams, I forgot was Jason. Shane Battier, Kenyon Martin, Elton Brand, Antoine Jameson, Tim Duncan, Marcus Camby. I'm just reading some names. Joe Smith, Glenn Robinson, Calbert Chaney. Am I missing like somebody who like what year guy player? Huh? Indiana Hoosier.
Calbert Chaney.
Yeah, Calbert Chaney was an Indiana great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The name
He's the
always
Big Ten's all-time leading scorer.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I learned something today. Christian Laettner, Shaq
Ah,
won.
how about Laettner?
Larry Johnson won like every award, and Shaq won the AP.
Wow.
Interestingly enough, I'm just, like I said, doing this for fun now. Lionel Simmons, Sean Elliott, Hersey Hawkins, David Robinson. You start getting into where like 70 different people won the awards, but Walter Berry, Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan did sweep that year. Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson won 3. He's the only one to do that, I think, or only one to win multiple. Mark Aguirre, Larry Bird, Butch Lee, Marquise Johnson, Scott May, David Thompson 2-time, Bill Walton 2 times, Austin Carr, Pete Maravich, Lou Alcindor, Elvin Hayes, Lou Alcindor, Kazzie Russell, Bill Bradley, Gary Brads, Art Hyman, and Jerry Lucas twice to round out the 1960s.
So here's the thing.
I'm happy with that.
When you put a clock, like if we were just sitting here talking and we went year by year, I'm sure we could have easily, for the most part, reeled off those names. But you put a 60-second clock and you're trying to think and write, it's like,
All right. That was a lot of fun. I do want to give you all a chance to plug on the way out of here. Obviously, we've got something as a group we want to kind of – I've touched on it a few times on this show, but I'll talk about it for a second, and then you guys can throw in any thoughts, maybe something you've learned in your process of researching. But for those that are new to this channel, for those of you that are going to be finding this, because for some reason people just find Trivia Showdown magically in July. But whenever you guys check this out, I am part of the ECB crew, Everything College Basketball, over on house-enterprise.com. Shout out to House-Enterprise for the support on both the shows here on the Two Pointers podcast, as well as Everything College Basketball. Thank you guys for, first of all, bringing me in and having the opportunity to meet you guys and do this over the last couple of months on your show, as well as, or I guess our show now. Thank you for the invitation. We're also working on a magazine, which is kind of my first formal announcement of this. It is coming around the corner sooner rather than later, and I got to get rolling on a couple of these smaller conferences. But just a little backstory, I'll give you a small one, and then you guys can kind of touch on anything I might have missed. But full-length magazine where you get previews of every conference. Every single team in college basketball gets at least some form of written formality. There's going to be some really cool nuggets in there from some really, really awesome guests, and I'm not going to spoil those unless Phil does. But I'm going to leave those blank for now. We're going to kind of tease that later, hopefully, in the year. But there'll be some really cool guests in there with some really great information. So I'm super excited to preview that. But thank you guys for being here. Anything you want to say or plug on the way out? Don't care who goes.
Yeah. Sorry, Peyton. I didn't mean to cut you off there. But no, yeah, man, we're glad to have you. You mentioned about the magazine. This is Phil's brainchild. I always give him credit. Phil's been with us for a couple of years now, and he came to us last year about it, and we were really happy with how it came out. Sold way more than I ever thought for an independent magazine. And this year, Adam, Trevor, we know what we're doing. It's going to be amazing. Outside of that, on the ECB channel, on the podcast, just yesterday did an episode previewing the Big East with our boy Michael De Rosa from House member over at Road to the Garden. So go find that in your podcast feed. Just search up Everything College Basketball. It's 90 minutes full of in-depth preview of the Big East Conference. A lot of fun and craziness between two crazy individuals talking Big East basketball. Other than that, man, I had a lot of fun in this. If there's one thing I learned is that I know the knowledge, but it's hard when you put a clock against it.
All I'm going to say is everything Josh said about the magazine, you hopping on board with us as always. He's 100% correct. Glad to have you on board. Not just doing the other podcast, but also helping out with doing this magazine as well. It's year 2 of doing this magazine, so I'm excited once we can start doing a lot of research this week. So I'm excited once we can finally release the magazine for year 2. But all I'm going to say, I'm going to blame my loss on one person and one person only. And he's the most obnoxious announcer in college basketball, Bill Walton. He cost me a chance to send overtime. After I got Evan Turner, and I wrote Evan Turner down, Bill Walton popped in my head, but I could not remember what years he played in college basketball. So I panicked, completely erased him off, and started putting Oscar Sheboy, and Oscar, I didn't get it down. So Bill Walton, here's to you.
Well, I'm really happy that I was able to beat both Josh and Peyton, the brothers Burton.
I love it.
But yeah, no, that came down to the wire, and yeah, I don't really have anything to plug. I plugged my Twitter at the beginning at Phil_Dex_sports, but just also really excited about the magazine. You mentioned it, Trevor, not quite ready to reveal some of the, guests we have for the magazine and some of the more feature-y stuff that may be coming.
So
but I think I'm very, very excited for a couple of the things we have in the pipeline for that I think are going to really, I don't want to say shock people, but I think people will be very happy to read.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Don't want to drag it on super long, but just I'll leave the message out there to the Big South and the SWAC and all of these small conferences who are itching for their team. Whoever, St. Peter's every year now. We've got a team like Florida Atlantic and all these teams that we're just like, man, who really covered them? The magazine's going to have it. We're going to know exactly what's going to happen. We may not get it right, but if a Big South team, first of all, I'm going to be really proud of it, but if a Big South team wins, 4 games in March Madness and we're freaking out, we're going to look back on and see how highly they're ranked in the ACB mag. We're going to be really, really excited for that. I don't have anything to plug, fortunately, because, again, the summer has been a lot. Feel free to check out all of the written stuff for me. Just, I've put out the state ranking series. That's been really, really fun. It's been a long couple of days. Couldn't get this podcast out on time, obviously, because of some things going on, and neither is that state rankings article. But 20 through 11 will be out late tonight, early tomorrow morning, as fast as Phil and I can put it together and figure it out. Literally finished them like 30 minutes before we started this podcast, but I'm super excited to have that come out. And then obviously the big dogs, the heavy hitters, 10 through 1, right? We're going to have the top 10 of the state ranking series come out. Going to be a lot of very unhappy people. I'll throw in this nugget. There is no bias, but there's going to be some arguments on Twitter and in the comments. So very, very excited for that. It'll be out on house-enterprise.com. It'll also be linked to the description below. Looking forward to doing the rest of these trivia showdowns. Don't have anything lined up. Got 6 days to do that, but I'm very, very excited to bring on some former guests and have a great time. So, fellas, thank you again for coming on. I know we got to get going, go eat some dinner. On behalf of all the guys at ECB, as well as myself, I'm glad to be back doing this. Thank you guys for all the support. This has been the 2 Pointers Podcast. I'm Trevor Everett, and we will see you next week.